y'all, welcome back to another video with laughs, gags, and gossip. Now let's get into the mess. Hey Scandal Squad, welcome back to the channel, Celebrity Scandalous. Can somebody just drop a comment and let me know if you can hear me? But anyway, what we're going to talk about today, yesterday, Jay-Z, the news that Jay-Z has been named as a co-defendant in the Diddy case, it broke the internet. Everybody was just shocked. Although most of us suspected that Jay-Z was going to be next, we've been talking about this for over a year. When all of this started with Diddy, I didn't believe that it would be something in terms of where's the evidence. This so far ain't like Puff situation where Cassie came out. Okay, I'll get to it, Michael. Just give me a second. Yesterday, we were all shocked, right? The fact that he was named as a co-defendant in a case with a minor, right? And so I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. I mean, I suspected that there were going to be issues because of, the stuff with him and Foxy Brown. Totally unrelated, but still. But then as the dust settled, it reminded me Jay-Z has a very riddled past with allegations of his affiliations with younger women. So we're going to do a quick recap, go back and see what they're saying today, and then kind of delve into why his past could come back to haunt him. Although this is a civil case now, just like how it started with Diddy with the civil case with Cassie, it's very well that it could possibly, it could move into being a criminal case. So let's go listen to what some legal analysis on the case, and then we'll get into the stuff with him in his past.
Mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after party in 2000. In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" He added, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it. It's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning. Good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement. Yeah. He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number three, that she phone called her dad, who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law. But if true, it could rise to the level of criminality. And, we'll see what happens or if the DA looks and investigates.
So what happens now?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact finding, right? Before that, just briefly, there was a demand letter sent. And a demand letter is a letter being sent by a lawyer saying, hey, I don't have to sue you. We can sit, we can mediate it. If we reach an agreement, it never sees the light of day. Jay-Z saying, I don't care about your demand letter. I look at it as blackmail. You want to sue me, sue me. You want to look at it criminally, look at it criminally, but it'll go through the fact-finding process. If a trial is necessary to determine the facts, that's what will happen, but it'll be deemed civil. No indication at this point as to whether or not any criminal investigation will ensue as a result of this.
Yeah, and Jay-Z came back incredibly forcefully against these allegations and really singled out that attorney as well for being, I'm paraphrasing here, but greedy, saying he's out to get money, and calling that letter essentially blackmail.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Jessica, also suing the attorney, saying he's intimidating him, harassing him, etc. Now, demand letters are not new. What lawyers do is they send them out as a matter of protocol and practice so that you can expedite the process. At the same time, there's certain ethical standards that you have to use, and you have to have a good faith factual belief that this is true. Now, you can argue this complaint was filed in October, right? Could have mentioned Jay-Z then. You didn't. Why? It was amended now to include him. Are the factual assertions true? Are they fact or fiction? Is it a money grab or not? All of that will be litigated in a court of law. But according to Jay-Z, this never happened, is pure fiction. It is a money grab, and he's fighting for his name, reputation, and certainly innocence and justice in his view, which is he didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, and you touched on a point, too, that I wanted to ask you about, which was that this was an amendment to this already existing lawsuit. What are people to take away from that? The fact that they're coming back and adding to this now with this specific name?
Yeah, Jessica, so it depends. That's also common. You could amend lawsuits, right, as a matter of course, and you do, to include certain factual allegations. The interesting thing to me in terms of your question and the takeaway, if you had this information about Jay-Z, it happened allegedly in September of 2000. Why not include it in the original complaint? What happened between October and now that necessitated you putting in, and it's a question of credibility. Was he celebrity A, right, as was noted in the October complaint? Is this pure fiction? And what's interesting in the complaint is he really, that is the lawyer, tries to tie Jay-Z to Mr. Combs in so many ways, right? Birds of a feather is the argument that he's making. You can make that argument. You need the facts to sustain it. Let's see if they come up with any facts.
Yes, all right, we will see. All right, Joey Jackson, thanks.
Okay, so let's go back to Michael. Thank you for thank you for your participation. I appreciate it. So your first statement was, where is the evidence? This so far ain't like Puff's situation where Cassie came out. I mean, why are you saying that it's not like Puff's, like Cassie's situation? I agree with you in the sense that Cassie had a long-standing relationship with Diddy, so she would have a lot more evidence and information. However, what is your basis for saying this is not like when Cassie came out? Because there's two competing situations that Diddy has. The civil case where she tried to sue him. This is exactly what this person is trying to do. She is alleging that something occurred, and she apparently tried to settle with, I don't know if she tried to settle with Diddy previous to naming him as a defendant, but with Jay-Z, it sounds like they tried to have a settlement negotiations before they publicly named him, which is the same thing that Cassie did. So I'm not sure where you're saying it's a different situation. The difference that I see is that Cassie was Diddy's long-term partner, but both of these ladies have made allegations, and I'm assuming it's a girl, that both of these women have made allegations against Diddy. So your statement that they're different, if you could just kind of put it in the chat where it's different. Okay. They said this wasn't about cash, so I don't understand the mediation aspect. A civil case is about cash, like it's criminal or civil, and generally civil. And I'm speaking from the perspective of a previously I was a litigation secretary, now cyber professional. What else would there be in civil? There's going to be monetary. It's monetary, right? Maybe they did not provide a sum or they didn't demand a settlement amount, but it is what other remedy would they be asking in a civil case? It's money, right? Or it would be criminal where they're asking that there be charges and you would face going to jail or prison, right? So, I mean, they're just stating that they didn't give a monetary amount. So let me go back to your other statement. So I was going to talk about Jay-Z's past and how it's going to come back to haunt him, but you have some excellent questions. So I'm just going to jump right into some of the stuff that you stated. If he did any of this, get him out of here. But they're looking for money. I do agree with you on that fact. My point, even when Cassie came out, initially I viewed it as a legal blackmail. I mean, that's how I looked at it. It's like she said, "I'm going to write a book if you don't settle with me." I felt like if you have been harmed or if some crime has taken place, then why wouldn't we go for the criminal charges? And I do believe that's because most people are solely interested in the financial benefit. None of these cases, Buzbee has 120 cases and all of them are civil. Why would you not be pursuing this man? Just like Jay-Z said, I mean, I'm not here in support of Jay-Z, so let's say that right now. But from a legal perspective, if these people committed crimes and they were raping people and doing all these heinous acts, why wouldn't you be pursuing the criminal, the criminal aspect? Well, some people could argue because the bar of evidence is lower. It's a lower standard to prove guilt in a civil. And if they do get a civil case and they win, then they could go for criminal charges. So that may be some of the reasoning. I don't know, because I don't know what the legal angles are. But just like I believe if you remember in the O.J. Simpson case, where they were going for the criminal, they tried to go after him for the unaliving of Nicole, but they also went civilly as well because they wanted the monetary benefit. So I mean, I agree with you. When this Cassie thing first came out, I was like, well, that's kind of teetering on. You're telling him I'm going to write a tell-all book if you don't pay me. So do you want justice or do you want money? But she's entitled to both. If these things did occur, you can settle with the person and get a payout. But I would be thinking that most people would want some kind of criminal charges. So I agree with you there. You said, what 13-year-old is going by herself to an MTV Awards? I totally agree with you there as well. Yesterday, when this story first broke, I was like, what the hell is a 13-year-old kid doing, hanging out at parties, and how was she allowed in? How are you traveling? However, we don't know her history. We don't know what type of 13-year-old she was allegedly at the time. So, I mean, it's feasible. Teenagers do a whole lot of things that their parents aren't aware of. I mean, me per se, my parents were very strict. I grew up, so I wasn't damn near going to the next city or nothing without somebody being supervised. So I don't know, but I mean, this is 20 some odd years ago. So again, all of this will come out in the fact finding. All of these things will have to be proved. So I don't know, but I do agree with you. It's kind of questionable. And I was just watching Gene Deal, and he is already kind of shooting holes in this, saying that, Diddy at the time didn't have a limousine driver and things like that, because he was very, closely tied to Diddy. So all of these things she's going to have to prove it. So we shall see. I don't know what the facts are, but that would definitely be a question for me as well. And also Jay-Z coming out vehemently stating, hey, I didn't do it, but if you're pursuing me, why aren't you going for me criminally? I mean, that stands out to me. That's going to stand out to a lot of people, anybody in the judicial arena, the court system. That's a fair statement. If I did something so heinous, why do you just want money? You should want me behind bars. Now I'm going to say this. The problem with what he's saying and what he's doing, even though he's coming out, because remember, Jay-Z countersued, and he was coming after Buzbee. He's thinking that he's anonymous, right? Because now we know that Jay-Z has countersued him. He possibly has been thinking that there was going to be some anonymity until they resolve this, right? But the problem now that he's known and he's named, this could totally blow up and backfire on him. The same thing that happened to Diddy, when Diddy had the opportunity to, as they called it, the catch and kill, where he could have settled with Cassie before it went public, he didn't. He didn't take Cassie seriously. And then once it went public and everybody found out about it, hence the indictments, right? So it's possible, even though Jay-Z is coming out saying, pursue criminal charges against me, there's a possibility this can blow up into criminal charges, because now, just like with Cassie's suit, other people are going to come out of the woodwork. And we don't even need other people to come out, because we got that one that's been looming over Jay-Z's head for years, and that's Foxy Brown, and that's his possible relationship with aMinor, the young man who's claiming that he's his son. The fact that he would, if Jay-Z is the dad, he got his mother pregnant when she was underage. So the fact that Jay-Z, I get the fact that he doesn't want to, do a cash payout. He feels that this is blackmail, but this could very well blow up in his face. Jay-Z has a very notorious past, allegedly, with younger women. So I don't know how this is going to fare for him. You said they said this wasn't about cash. Okay, so we talked about that. Of course it's about cash. I mean, there's generally, when you sue somebody, you want some remedy. It's either going to be cash, or you want them to correct. I used to do a lot of torts and contract law. And so if you do something, if there's a building or something and something malfunctions or whatever, you want to pay out and you want the corrective measures. So there's always going to be, you want to get something. And if you're not getting something tangible like money or something remediated, then you're looking at criminal and you want them in jail. So you said true, so I don't remember what you're saying true about. So, okay. So the video with Cassie and Puffy, I think, so here's the thing. I don't feel like the video buried him, I'm going to say, because, I think the problem is the fact, all of the allegations she made about the drugging, the trafficking, the sex workers and things like that. The fact that he, and I'm just looking at it from a legal perspective. So I know people are going to say, oh, it was terrible what he did. Listen, just put your legal hat on. You are only looking at facts of a case. The fact that he lied, that's number one, credibility. So that's an issue. But the fact that we saw that he, beat her up in the lobby and everything, men and women, I'm not going to just say men, but people do this all the time. And it would not arise to a person, per se, be having to do 20 or 10 years in prison. I mean, let's just say that if we solely took out everything, the trafficking and all of the allegations of being with minors, if we were solely trying to prosecute Diddy on the fact that he had an interaction with Cassie in the lobby, that may be a domestic abuse or something. He could probably do some classes or something like that, and probably be out within less than a year if he had to serve time. So I don't really think that, I don't think that video is what buried him. I think the video mainly showed a lack of credibility, and of course, in public opinion, it just looks bad. It's horrible. I mean, she said that you did all of these things, so it kind of proves that. But in terms of domestic abuse, he would not be facing 20 years. So I think it's the totality of all of the things that he's up against. And I mean, of course, that video does not help him, and the fact that he lied about it. But I think it's the other things, the other elements, the drugging, the sex workers, Little Rod coming out with his case. I mean, all of those things played. Those were the things I think that are really burying Diddy at this point. Michael says, definitely stands out to me. Okay, so I don't know what part you're talking about, but if you put it in there, I'll talk about that. Okay, so Mother of the Universe says Jay-Z is innocent. So thank you. This is a good way. Okay, I'm gonna come back to what you said, but I'm gonna go back to Michael. Michael says hearsay sucks. Anybody can say anything and keep themselves unseen, and the person they are going after is out here for everybody to see. Nobody should have. I agree with you, Michael. I've said that too. I mean, in some of my prior videos, I just from again a legal perspective, not emotional, not right or wrong. It's your I don't know if it's a constitutional right, but you have a right to face your accusers. And so regardless as to whether we think Diddy is right or wrong, I just believe that it's not because, but here's the thing, here's another thing. When people are saying her identity should be anonymous, it would at some point Diddy would and his attorneys would know. It just would not necessarily be known to us because they have ways of sealing documents and sealing cases and doing it. I've never been a party to anything like that. So I feel like at some point her identity would be known to Diddy. You can't just sue somebody and make all of these allegations without them being able to say, hey, wait a minute. At this point, I wasn't there and I don't know you, or, something like that. So the whole thing of anonymity, at some point, I believe that just through the judicial process, again, I haven't had any cases like that before, so I don't know the procedure, but I feel that she would have to be named, and maybe not necessarily to the general public, but he would know. But I can go back and fact check that because I just don't know enough about at what point in a case would the person's identity have to be revealed. But I agree with you there. You should have a right to know. It's unfortunate, but if you're suing somebody, and especially, and what kills me is that people, the one thing that I'm really surprised about with people, even though the people, just assume that Diddy is guilty. If it were you, if somebody, just put yourself as a private citizen, if somebody came and made allegations against you, would you not want to know who it was? Don't you think you have a right to know? And there's an added layer to the fact that Diddy is a damn near a billionaire, or he was. I mean, now they're saying he's going broke. But when you're talking about this level of money involved, there are going to be people that are out there just to get money. So you would want to know who these people are. I mean, there's just going to be a lot of people coming out the woodworks for a quick money grab. That's a fact. So take your emotions out of it. Yeah, I think you should know who's suing you. And, she was a minor then, but she's an adult now. And we're talking about, I think there's been a precedent set with the fact that Anna Kane, the woman who was on that DNG picture, the fact that one judge has said that she had to reveal herself, I think that that's going to impact some of the other people that want to remain anonymous. And why do you want to remain anonymous? I mean, is it because it could be for nefarious reasons, right? And so now that Anna has been named, we know that she has so much of a sketchy past. Again, not that she's not telling the truth, but there have been some things about her where under penalty of perjury and, court documents, she's lied as well. So you have to hold everybody by the letter of the law when you're litigating cases like this. You just do, so that there's not a mistrial, so that the person gets justice on both sides, the accuser as well as the victim, right? So Mother of the Universe said, let's see, you said Jay-Z is innocent. So Mother of the Universe, let's go back quickly and kind of look at Jay-Z's past. So this is an article. This came out in October, and I've done things on Jay-Z for the last year now, just because it's interesting about some of his things that he's been through. But it says it's Jay-Z's empire crumbling. Dame Dash exposes secrets amid Diddy and R. Kelly controversy. So recently, Dame Dash has been coming forward talking about this. Now, anybody who kind of follows the or knows about the history with Dame Dash, Jay-Z, Aaliyah, and R. Kelly, remember before Aaliyah died, was in, the plane crash, at the accident, Dame and Aaliyah were dating. Dame Dash and Jay-Z had a falling out because he didn't understand how Jay-Z could be so close to R. Kelly after the whole Aaliyah incident. So let's just kind of go as Michael Brown said, hearsay. So we're not going on hearsay. I'm gonna go ahead and point to some information. Let's see. I'm gonna use some information that was that's already been in the public. So it's not just me making up stuff, but let's go through this article. As Shawn Diddy Combs faces increasing scrutiny over past allegations, another hip-hop mogul may be at the center of a growing controversy, Jay-Z. Once Jay-Z's close friend and co-founder of Rockefeller Records has reignited conversations about Jay-Z's connection to R. Kelly, the disgraced R&B singer now serving time for multiple crimes, including those involving minors. Okay, there's Dash and Aaliyah. It goes on to say that Dame Dash recently appeared on interviews discussing the strained relationship between him and Jay-Z, pointing to one particularly explosive issue: Jay-Z's long-standing partnership with R. Kelly, despite the singer's well-known predatory behavior. This alliance, according to Dash, became a major point of contention, especially after R. Kelly's marriage to the late Aaliyah, who was once Dash's girlfriend at the time. Now, I mean, just because you are friends with somebody, that doesn't make you guilty. But yesterday, when they first came out with the allegations that Jay-Z messed around with a 13-year-old, it reminded me, let me find this here, you guys. Give me a second. Let me see. It reminded me of, hold on. Let's see. Okay, I got it right here. Aaliyah, 1979. Her and Foxy Brown was born in 1978. Jay-Z and R. Kelly, both. I didn't realize that they were only a year apart. Okay. R. Kelly allegedly, let me share this tab. R. Kelly allegedly started messing with Aaliyah when she was 13 or 14. So this is not something that is like so unbelievable. When we look at the music industry and the entertainment industry, we have cases that we can refer to where it is known that these men, and I hate to say, but we're talking about men here. These men, R. Kelly in particular, was messing with a 13-year-old. So is it unreasonable to think that Diddy, Jay-Z, people in his orbit were doing the same things? No. I mean, yesterday I was like, oh my God, that's unbelievable, 13. But then I realized, you know what, 13 and 15, which is the age that they say Jay-Z was messing with Foxy Brown, that's very close in age. Very close in age. So it's not unheard of. And at the time when R. Kelly was with Aaliyah, we all sat around and watched it. Nobody questioned it. I mean, I know it wasn't publicly talked about. It wasn't like it was something known, but I think it was just like an open secret. Nobody questioned it. So it's not like back in the day that these older men weren't messing with younger girls. They most absolutely were. Now, is it unreasonable to think that Jay-Z, Diddy, or R. Kelly had relations with a 13-year-old? No, not from what we're knowing now. So let me go here and see what you're saying, Michael. Okay, I agree with you on that part. Mo Palmer says they say Tony Buzbee is he's the most successful lawyer in the U.S. I don't think he'd be taking this case without having all his ducks in a row. So I agree with you on that. So I went to the Texas bar to see if he had any, let's see, if I could find that. I went to look up his, okay, yeah, let me share this tab. So I did go to see if there were any disciplinary actions against him. And no, there aren't. So it looks like he's in good standing. I couldn't find any dirt on him. I don't want to say dirt, but I was, when stuff like this comes out, you kind of want to see if they are notorious for doing, these kind of ambulance chasers. And there isn't. The only thing that I could see that was a little bit questionable about him was the fact that he had a DWI previously, a drunk driving, and the fact that they kind of dismissed it, and the way it was done was kind of, it wasn't done through typical process or procedure. Like they, how they pull strings for people in power. And so, and plus, it had been said that due to his political donations and contributions to people, that's how he got the case dismissed. So that's the only thing that I could see, so in terms of what you're saying, that they say Tony Buzbee is the most successful lawyer, yes, that's what I've seen and that's what I've read. He's had some very high profile cases, and it looks like he's been very successful. So the fact that Jay-Z has tried to besmudge his character, I don't think that that's going to work, but we shall see. And that's actually a good strategy for Jay-Z to kind of come after him and discredit him. I mean, that's what he's supposed to do. That's what his attorneys are supposed to do. Even before having to deal with the facts of the lawsuit to try to discredit Tony Buzbee is a great strategy. The other thing is that now that we know Jay-Z and Diddy are co-defendants, if Jay-Z is successful in getting this case dismissed or the allegations against him dropped, that will definitely greatly help Diddy, because that means that there's probably no legal leg to stand on. If he's able to prove that this is not true, then Diddy, because remember, this case is saying they were there together, they did it together. Now, anytime you allegedly commit a crime with somebody, you could say, well, this person did more than that person, or I just drove the car. And then that would kind of mean there would be different charges against the defendants. But in this case, the young lady is stating that they were there in the room together and did, similar things to her. So if Jay-Z is able to say or prove he wasn't there, it didn't happen, then that would greatly help Diddy's case. And then that would begin to topple some of the other cases that Tony Buzbee has. Then people will start to question, well, are these other cases legitimate? So this is going to be a critical case for Diddy as well as Jay-Z. Michael Brown says, crazy times we live in. The court of public opinion is a mother. I agree with you. I mean, this is all the court of public opinion, but judges are going to be looking at facts. Most people are and that's one of the things that I like about the fact that I have a legal background. I just don't jump in and say, oh, he's guilty. We don't know. I mean, the court of public opinion, based on some of the information we see and we know about them, I didn't know that much about Diddy, but I had heard a lot about Jay-Z in the past. And the one reference that I always had was the fact that Jay-Z had allegedly messed with Foxy Brown while she was underage, and the fact that maybe Rymir, the young man claiming to be his son, was conceived, if Jay-Z is his father, when his mother was underage. Now, if you say that's the court of public opinion, I mean, it is. But again, the only thing that will make a difference are the facts that are litigated before the judge and the jury, right? So, if not one of the most. Yeah, I mean, everybody is saying that he's one of the best litigators in the U.S. and that I haven't heard anything bad about the cases or losses. But I mean, to be honest, I was thinking that this was a bit much, that he had 120 cases. Initially, he stated that there were approximately over 1,000 people that reached out to their law firm with claims against Diddy. I thought that was a lot, but we'll just have to wait and see what kind of evidence that this young lady has when she was 13. They're saying that, and I do have the complaint, but I know everybody's gone over the complaint. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to be bored with that. And there's just, it's like 20 some odd pages. And initially, which is another interesting point to this case, just like the gentleman was saying, the legal analyst, the fact that Jay-Z has been added after the fact is interesting. If you knew that he was a person of interest in the beginning, why wasn't he named? And most of this, if you look at the beginning of the case, it's all talking about Diddy's affiliations, Diddy's companies, and it's almost like a sidebar that Jay-Z is thrown in there. I mean, if you look at the first, let's see, I had it up here somewhere. If you look at the first like line items of the case, it's like they're talking about Diddy. It's like Jay-Z is thrown in as an after fact, I mean, I don't know. So I can't find it that quickly, but let's see. Wait a minute. I'm trying to go back to the comments. Okay, she be 37 now. Yeah. Okay. I think yesterday I said about 37 or 39. Yeah, so she's an adult now. So in terms of her needing anonymity, in a high profile case like this, she's an adult now. So yeah, I would think that, but again, the judge will determine all of that, because I mean, just like Anna Kane was outed, who knows? The judge might protect her identity. Dave Bird says, innocent until proven guilty, but the tin hat in me is like 30 plus years in the cesspool of a demonic industry with ties to Diddler and other shady weirdos. But since he swore he did nothing, I believe him. And you're right, innocent until proven guilty. However, I mean, we're not the court. We don't know all of we don't have the facts of the case. We don't see the evidence. We don't see the interrogatories. We don't see depositions. So all we know is just kind of high level. And they make this stuff so sensational. I mean, because for the media's sake, they sensationalize everything, right? So we don't really know. However, if you look at, how they say circumstantial, if we look at circumstances over the course of the 20 or 30 years, all of these men have had sketchy pasts with women and younger women. So, yeah, we can't say that they're guilty, because that's going to come down to law. But, and then a lot of it has to do with people's moral compass. What do you think is right or wrong? But in a court of law, that's where they will make the decisions about whether or not they're guilty. So, yeah, this is the court of public opinion, and it's a sensational case, Michael says, Buzbee will take this case pro bono, and the slandering of Jay's name would do enough damage, innocent or not. Well, here's the thing, Michael. He didn't take it pro bono, because they're gonna be asking for. He probably took it on contingency, because they're suing a dang near billionaire. Is Jay-Z a billionaire now? So it wouldn't be one of those instances of, he does personal injury and things like that. So they take those cases on contingency, knowing that, they're gonna get, more than likely that they can get some money. So I don't think that he would take this case pro bono. And I know they do take a lot of cases pro bono, but he wouldn't have to. He's so big that, a lot of those firms like that, the pro bono cases are really for people that really just can't afford attorneys, and, other kind of cases, not where they're talking about asking a billionaire for millions of dollars. He would definitely be wanting a financial payout from that. All of the cases, he's looking to get money, just like with the I believe they've already settled with some celebrities. I believe that was something that came out in the media. So if they've already settled, that's not pro bono. He's getting paid, and he will get a percentage of that. So I don't feel like he's doing it to be altruistic. He wants to get paid. Michael says they all looking at him like he's guilty already anyway. I mean, Yeah, because of, guilt by association. Unfortunately, I mean, that's just kind of the facts. Both of these men are prominent figures that became uber wealthy, and they've retained a close friendship throughout the years. I mean, publicly, the liquor industry, their personal and professional alliances. I mean, of course they're gonna. It's sort of like, just look at this picture. Y'all see the picture that's on the screen? To me, that's very symbolic. Remember, they say Beyonce is the queen of symbolism and subliminals, right? The fact that they have their hands over their mouths. There was one comment that they said, Jay-Z said, all we ask is loyalty. And I know me. I mean, I'm in a sorority. And sometimes, if things happen, we'll be like, take it to the grave. I believe that because of their close association, there are some things that they have done together. And definitely it's going to make people think that Jay-Z knew or he participated. And the problem, the fact of the matter is, it's not just Jay-Z. There are other people. If they're accusing Diddy of all this RICO and the fact that he's done all this trafficking, he did not do it by himself. That's the part that pisses me off. I feel there's so many other people that should be held accountable. This man didn't do all of that. People turned a blind eye, and now everybody's coming out pointing fingers. If y'all saw him messing with little girls and little boys, what the hell were you doing? First of all, if you continue to take a check from him, you should be held accountable. You are just as guilty. Don't come pointing the finger now. I mean, if you stood by, you're part of the problem. Mother of Universe says, all the girls I knew in high school dated older men with resources. It was normal back then, honestly. Mother of the Universe, I ain't gonna lie. I agree with you. Back in the day, yeah, when I was in high school, the men were picking up girls in their Mercedes. We had an NFL player. I wish I could say this man's name because I remember it clear as day. We had an NFL player that would come up and pick up one of the senior girls. We were seniors in high school. So it was just, yeah, you're right. But was it right? It was just something that was common practice. And now people are being held accountable with the Me Too. And I think a little bit of the difference in this situation, though, is the allegations of drugging the women and, things being done to them that they didn't know about, And if you saw the movie Blink Twice, even though I know y'all know the story with the girl, Amisha, that came out and said it was based on her. If you saw that movie, it just kind of gives you a vision or understanding as to what it feels like or what it could be like for somebody to be drugged, be taken advantage of, and kind of not know what happened to them, right? So I think that's what makes these things, that's making it come to the forefront and making it so bad. Of course, back in the day, older guys did date younger girls, but not under the guise of you drugging them, taking, having underage, it's kind of different. It's a little different. Mother of the Universe says rape is a strong accusation. It absolutely is. And I feel like Buzbee, based on what I've read about him and, what they're saying his professional history has been, I would think that this man is wise enough to have enough evidence, or that the person, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tyrone Blackburn. Well, he's come against some of these celebrities, and he's actually filed some cases. I believe he may have a couple Diddy cases as well. Now, Tyrone Blackburn, he also had cases against T.I. and Tiny. Most of those were dismissed, or they've just fallen flat. And I believe it's because he didn't do his due diligence and he did not have enough credible evidence. But Buzbee, on the other hand, given his reputation, I would think that he knows what he needs to go up against a Jay-Z. And I would think that he would have some evidence, hard evidence, not just hearsay, as Michael said earlier. I would think that he has some tangible, credible evidence before he would go follow suit like this, because just like Jay-Z countersued him, hell, if this man is just doing this and it can be proven, he could lose his license. He could be disbarred. I mean, so many things that he could face. So I don't feel like he would just frivolously take these cases like that. I don't think, but he could. I don't think. Hey, Bring the Mess TV. Everybody, Bring the Mess TV has a channel. You guys go check her out. Go subscribe to her channel. Hey, girl. Michael says, we've all seen this. The older dudes been picking up the young girls from high schools. Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. Back in the day, in high school, did we go out and with guys that were a little older? We did. But this ain't that, in my opinion. I mean, were the men wrong? I mean, now, like, I'm a mother and my daughter, I would be pissed if she was like 17 dating a dude 21 or 22 or 23. It's like, no, stay in your own age range and your own age group. But 20, 30 years ago, it was different. And also the difference is these allegations are the fact that they were drugging people, holding them against their will, not just one-on-one relationships, but running, choo-choos on girls, right? So I think that's totally different. What we did back in the day, not to say that it was right, but it was different when you're raping girls. That's different. And young men. And the thing about this lawsuit against Jay-Z, they're saying that they did it with boys as well, young men as well. So that's just crazy. I haven't even gotten into all of that. The fact that they're saying men, now we only know Jay-Z to be a heterosexual male. So they're just making up I'm not saying they're making up like it's a lie. I'm just saying we are hearing a whole lot of stuff that we ain't, this is a lot. Bring the Mess says there was no evidence. I read it. Well, I know it sounds kind of light, but from the initial complaints, I didn't read the entire complaint, but still did I feel like, as you go in a lawsuit, a lot of the things that you're alleging or the questions, like if you do the interrogatories or if you attach different, if you attach evidence, sometimes that does not come in the initial complaint. There are things that can be introduced later. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't read it. So you may be right. Maybe there's nothing. I have to go through the whole complaint. I haven't seen it. But I mean, to be fair and to be honest, sometimes things are not always disclosed in the beginning, right? You can add things, you can modify and amend. So let's see. I don't know. Mother of the Universe says exactly, but why are we acting shocked? I had an older, I mean, I think Mother of the Universe, I ain't gonna lie, I did too. But it was different. I mean, but no, first of all, if we're talking about 13 and a man over 21, that's a huge age gap. And that's like the R. Kelly, Aaliyah situation. And then the Foxy Brown and Jay-Z, Foxy Brown was 15, he was 27, something like that. That's a whole different thing to me. Again, to me, than a 17-year-old or 16-year-old dating somebody that's like 19 or 20. That it just looks different. Although now that would still be considered statutory in some states, right? And it still could be considered illegal. But in this instance, we're just not only just talking about these men dating younger women. There's also the element of drugs, of them being drugs. And you also have to understand a 13-year-old, there's a different level. The charges are different for the age range. If you are an adult messing with a 17 or 16-year-old girl, they're going to be different charges than you messing with a 13-year-old. The penalties are stiffer and higher. It's a more severe punishment because that's like a teen or maybe not a preteen, because if 13 is a teen, but that's considered like a child versus a teenager. Different. So it's different levels of, it's just different levels to it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked, but when they said the 13-year-old yesterday, I was kind of like, what? And the fact that they said it was great, right? Like, come on now, that's a lot. It looks like they trying to pull in the people and keep the case hot. I just like the legal analyst said, like, why are you naming Jay-Z at such a late date? Like, why wasn't he named in the beginning, right? I mean, of course, people are going to look at it as a money grab. And see, for me, I don't blame victims or victim shame, but I don't just always think that all people coming forward saying they were victimized. I don't believe them all. But and then this instance with the 13-year-old, I guess for me, I'm a little bit more open to hearing if this is a possibility because of Jay-Z's history. I do believe that he could, or he has been involved with younger girls. It's the great part that kind of is like, damn, what? Like, you know what for a child. And maybe I'm not articulating it properly, but when she says that it's a group of grown ass people, you know, adults in a room with the kid, that just is shocking. That's the shocking part. Reading the Mess TV says, I will say when I was 18, I dated my mom's. Oh, girl, did your mom know? Ooh, my mom would have been hot. That's a big age difference. But you were 18 though. You were 18, so that's not illegal. But I mean, that's a big age difference, but it's not illegal, you know. Mother of Universe says, oh wow. Mother of Universe, what are you saying oh wow to? Because I don't know what you are referring to. Michael Brown said, did Foxy say she had a relationship with Jay-Z? Okay, Michael, when I got to do another video, I have a video that I did about 6 months ago where Foxy Brown was doing an interview with Wendy Williams, and she asked her specific, and Michael, so since you asking me this, and I got to find this for you, I need you to come back because I'm going to do another video. I did it about 2 months ago, but I want you to come back so you can hear it yourself. And then I want you to make the assessment. I want you to decide whether or not you think that she admitted it. So back in, I want to say it was in the early 2000s. She was on the Wendy Williams show, and Wendy Williams, I got two things for you. Check this out. Wendy Williams said, Wendy Williams is asking her about you and Jay-Z had a relationship, and Foxy kind of, you know, steps around it. She doesn't want to really answer it. And then, so Wendy Williams asked her, so it's easier for you to hear it yourself because me trying to explain it is probably not going to come out well. But Wendy says, oh, so did you date Diddy? And then she goes, oh, so you don't mess around where you don't ish where you eat like that. And Foxy goes, no, that's not it because of, and she was referencing, that's not the case because of her and Jay-Z. And then there's a song that Foxy Brown did. Her lyrics specifically says, people thought I was messing with Nas, but all the time it was Jay-Z. So now the only thing about that is, are we able to say she was 15 when this was occurring? I mean, that's the only thing that would be challenged, but she does admit that she had a relationship with Jay-Z. Now, some people are going to say, oh, well, she put it, that's in her song. It doesn't mean anything. Jay-Z states, if you want to know anything about me, listen to my music. So it's in a song. So are they lying in their music? Possibly. Is art imitating life? I mean, you could ask all those questions. When she does the Wendy Williams show, which is something that a lot of the old interviews and photos of Jay-Z and Foxy Brown have been scraped from the internet. You can't even find some things, but that particular interview, I stumbled upon it, and I'm sure Foxy Brown would probably deny it now, but you can clearly, and you can't say it's AI because it was like 10 or 15 years ago. So yeah, I'm going to say she did admit it. Foxy said on her IG that she's not going to throw it. And so there you go. Mother of the Universe says, Foxy says, I'm not going to throw him under the bus. That isn't me. That to me, now that statement to me, I recently had a conversation with one of my managers, and I said about one of my coworkers who was ucking up, I said, I don't want to throw him under the bus. he had done some shit he should not have done, but I didn't want to get him in trouble. That to me is a statement of, I'm not going to get him in trouble. I'm not going to say anything, but he did do something. When you make statements like, I'm not going to throw you under the bus, that to me means you did something. If the person didn't do something, you wouldn't say, I'm not going to throw them under the bus. You would say they didn't do it. No, that's incorrect. That's not true. Not, well, I ain't going to throw them under the bus. I ain't going to get them in trouble. That's all you saying to me. Now, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but that's how I interpret that statement. We need some snake venom. Oh, that movie was crazy. I watched that movie like 2 times, you know. But yeah, that girl, now here's another thing, and I have worked with Lionel B, so I didn't want to come out and publicly say too much about that whole situation, just out of, you know, respect and loyalty to another content creator. But I did not believe her story, right? From the beginning, when she started it just was like the snake venom, and she pulled Diddy out of the fire. All of these things would probably have been, they would have been in the media if there was a fire that Diddy had been in. Like, everything about these celebrities is televised, right? So some of the stories and then I heard she mentioned mermaids and stuff. And I do believe that if you're high or people, you know, slip something on you, you can have delusions, you know, you could be delusional, but it just was too ridiculous. And then I'm of a certain age, like I just, some shit, you know, I have a 24-year-old. So it's like, girl, please, some stuff I'm just not going to believe. And her story to me was one of those, girls, go sit down. Not to say she's not a victim. I'm not victim shaming, but all of this too, it just sounded like the movie Blink Twice and some pieces of everybody's story. A lot of the things that she said were things that I had heard or seen from somebody else, and she just put it all together, which was just too much for me. And then, yeah, it was just a lot. Curious, why don't she press charges if this were true? And that's the thing. Okay, so if it happened 20 some odd years ago, I don't know about the whole statutory, you know, if it expires or whatever, but I don't know that she can necessarily press charges at this point. I think the state would have to pick it up, just like they did with Diddy. If she were going to press charges, because you know how when certain things happen, I think you get so much time. So I don't know if it would be her pressing charges as much as a criminal suit being brought against him. Yeah, and in terms of that process, I'm not familiar with how she would do that 20 some odd years later. I think it would just be similar to the whole thing with Cassie, where the state jumped in and they brought charges against Diddy, you know, because it's kind of late to press charges. I don't know, but that's a good question, Mother Universe. I got to look it up and see if that's even something she could do. Is a Michael saying we need some Venom Blink Twice. The Unpopular Podcast says, I'm late. What I miss pertaining to Aaliyah. No, I was just making the parallels of the fact that, well, R. Kelly, Aaliyah, and Dame Dash was saying that the reason he fell out with Jay-Z was because he was hanging around somebody that had been accused of being a predator. And that when we look at Aaliyah and Foxy Brown, they were only a year apart, right? I think Foxy Brown was a year older. But anyway, both born in like 78, 79. And when they were with these men, they both were dealing with Jay-Z and R. Kelly when Aaliyah was 13 when they alleged that she first had her encounter with R. Kelly, and Foxy Brown was allegedly dealing with Jay-Z when she was around 15. So, you know, those parallels and the fact that all of these men are interconnected in the industry. R. Kelly, Jay-Z, you know, they've done music together. They were friends before their big fallout. So that was the point I was making, that there are parallels there, some alignment. The Unpopular Podcast says, because a lot of people assume Aaliyah messed with Jay-Z, but Aaliyah herself in an interview said they was just friends. It's sad her legacy is always tarnished. So I'm not saying that Aaliyah messed with Jay-Z. I'm saying that Dame Dash had a problem with Jay-Z because he was friends with R. Kelly, who had taken advantage of Aaliyah. So that was my point. However, I did an interview with Demetrius who was R. Kelly's manager. That's something I did back in 2020. You can go listen to that, where he talks about, and he is the person who actually went and got the marriage certificate. So Aaliyah was kind of passed around in the industry, and people who were close to there, it's not tarnishing her name. These are just facts of a situation. It's unfortunate that it happened to her, but she was in that industry, and people who were close to this case or the situation stated that R. Kelly messed with her when she was underage. So in terms of her being tarnished, I don't know. People that were close to her, some of her bandmates say that R. Kelly took advantage of her. I'm not trying to tarnish her name, but these are the facts of what occurred. Unpopular opinion says, I honestly believe Jay had her because she denied him for Damon Dash, though. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are coming forward saying that it wasn't an accident, that it was unaliving. And to me, that's on the border of a conspiracy theory, but I don't doubt anything. Anything is possible. I would believe more that Jay-Z did something to that girl, Kathy White. Now that sounds more plausible to me than the whole Aaliyah thing, but I don't know. It could be. Clearly, Aaliyah liked older dudes. Yeah, I mean, she was in the industry. That's probably who she was around. And I feel like her family may not have done enough to protect her. I mean, she's a young starlet. All of these men are coming after her. She's the hot girl, just like Beyonce was. All of them, Tierra Marie, all of these young girls back in the day, all of these men were on them. Ashanti, all of them, right? Because it's the industry and they like them young. LOL, Michael. Jay-Z working with R. Kelly after her death said a lot. Yeah, that's what Dame Dash really, really said that's part of one of the reasons that they fell out. So I had kind of went over the article about that earlier, how Dame Dash said that really created a problem in their professional and personal relationship. Michael says business first. Unpopular podcast says the only fact we know for sure while she was underage is R. Kelly. So I wouldn't say pass around, but I feel you. No, and listen, I'm not making these statements. These are just things that have been said about her. Okay. I don't know. I wasn't in, that little circle. I don't know. But again, the person that I interviewed and other people have come forward and have said that Aaliyah, unfortunately, was not protected. And like many other women in the industry, had to sleep around. They said that about Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige has been accused. The young guy who was on a Tupac song said that Mary J. Blige messed with him when he was underage. So there's a lot of that going on. I don't think we can deny that, unpopular opinion, unpopular podcast, my bad. I'm sorry. Correct. It was said, I can say a lot. Sorry. I'm a big Aaliyah fan. So, okay. No, I get it. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a big Aaliyah fan, but this is no disrespect to Aaliyah. It's mainly just talking about the things that have been alleged. And from the perspective of Aaliyah, she would have been a victim, in my opinion. She was young. She wasn't protected. They took advantage of her. I think if you see the thumbnail I did for this, age ain't nothing but a number. These are grown men writing lyrics for a young girl. So I'm not here to besmudge Aaliyah at all. So if you feel that way, I do apologize, because I'm not saying that. I'm a mother and I have a daughter. And so, no, I feel that Aaliyah was not protected. And I do believe some of the stories that she was taken advantage of, and that she may have had to, or was in relationships with men older. I do believe that we're seeing a lot of information coming out about how a lot of these young girls were taken advantage of. I think once Cassie came out with her story, I mean, she just kind of blew the lid off of it. So the unpopular podcast, I don't mean to say, I'm not talking bad about Aaliyah. That's not my intent. So I do apologize if it comes across that way. Michael says Jay-Z and Dame been going at it. Yeah, they have. They both disrespected each other. Michael, did you did you see recently when Dame's teeth fell out? That was crazy. So Unpopular says I agree. Michael Brown says parents were definitely complicit with Aaliyah. Exactly, Michael. Now the guy Demetrius, again, these are all rumors. And there's another girl online, Lisa, what's her name? Lisa Allen. You could go look that up as well. They said that the mama slept with R. Kelly too. Now, these are all rumors. Now I'm gossiping. Now I'm being gossipy. All of this is gossip anyway. But yeah, they did say that. I feel like Aaliyah's mom is, yep. So there you go. That's what they're saying. And that's, well, Demetrius does not in our interview come out and said there are a lot of things that on record he kind of does not want to say, but it's insinuated. So let's put it like that. The Unpopular podcast says, nah, not you at all. Some people just are really mean and disrespectful when they talk about it, but forget she was a victim. Yeah, no, she was. Absolutely. I mean, no. And I don't even look at it like she wanted to do these things. I think there was so much pressure put on her, and totally R. Kelly manipulated her. And to think if this man came for a 13-year-old, now that's grooming, right? He got her before she even knew anything. I mean, he's making music with her. She's getting money. Her family is dependent upon all of that. And then she's blowing up in all this popularity. Like, put yourself in the 13-year-old's mind. They don't even know. You would not even know that you're being taken advantage of. She was a baby. And I don't mean, 13 is not a baby, but she wouldn't know, It's the adults around her. Even her uncle, I forget his name. I know somebody knows his name. These people did not protect her. So I totally agree with you on that. Michael says that was banana. I know, right? That's crazy. Now, well, listen, I was going to say, is he broke? I'm broke, okay? I am broke. But based on them and the kind of money that they have, what's the financial situation? Like, that was crazy. Dame's teeth are. Oh, yeah. Jewel. I know who you're talking about. I probably am not saying his name right. Jewel is whatever. I know who you're talking about, though. Isn't that Kim Bella's? That's her man, right? That's that Marcus Houston stuff. Grooming at its finest. Yeah. Marcus Houston and Christopher Stokes, right? And they still have movies on Tubi, and I'm not even knowing why people still watch it. Barry Hankerson. Yes. Barry Hankerson. Now that man, oh my God. Did y'all know that, okay, how is it? Shirley Strawberry, she was married to, okay, I just want y'all to know that she was married to the guy. R. Kelly had a relationship with Daryl Strawberry's wife, who was married to or related to Cheryl Strawberry. It's a whole lot. It's like a circle of people. It's just a clique. They've been doing this stuff for years. But anyway, y'all, I'm about to get out of here. Thank you so much. But Michael, if anybody has to come back, I need you to come back so you can hear Foxy Brown herself say it, because I want to get your opinion about it. So I'll probably do that video tomorrow, probably around the same time. And this is especially, I want you, okay? This is an invitation to you because I want to hear what you have to say about it, right? So I'm doing this tomorrow. It's going to be, we're going to talk about Foxy Brown and her acknowledging, in my opinion, that she messed with R. Kelly. Okay? So I would like for you to come back for that. He got $80 million for Aaliyah's death and gave nothing to her mom or dad. I heard that. And I saw Unpopular Podcast. Maybe tomorrow when I do this whole thing about the Foxy Brown, I'm going to try to find this video where one of the guys talks about how after he got the check, even after she passed, how they went out and celebrated and popped champagne. Like you were talking about the death. Oh, from the insurance company. After her death, Barry Hankerson, he got a check. Him and his friends went out, celebrated, and it's just sickening. Like for the man to even repeat it, but I got to find that. So hopefully I can find it by tomorrow. Shirley Strawberry ain't a good. How's she gonna give relationship advice? I'm serious. Okay, strawberry, da 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 da. How are you giving anybody relationship advice, lady? Please, really? I don't know why. Is she still on the show? Okay, Michael, just for you. I'll be here. Okay, so I got two people. Y'all done gave me some homework, okay? And please, oh, y'all don't forget to like the video. So you guys have given me some homework. So the unpopular podcast and Michael for tomorrow. And Michael, I mean unpopular podcast, I will go check your channel out and subscribe and check you out, okay? And y'all, I am done. Okay. I will see you tomorrow. So I started today at 11. So I'll be here tomorrow at 11. And thanks for giving me some homework. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.